Excuse me. Oh, let me scoot back. There we go. Alright, what's good, people? What's good, YouTube? Welcome to another installment of Press A to Jump podcast. This is your favorite weekly episodic TV YouTube series, Whiskey Wednesdays. I'm your host, Black Season, aka Black Assassin, and we back with another video. If this is your first time tuning in, this is a series where I smoke different brands of whiskey and I just talk about the experience. So if you're a returning viewer, you already know how this goes. If you're a new viewer, welcome. How are you? And as we start off today, so we got a nice pear mixing with apple. Like I said, this is the part of the series where I mixed wood chips, and we already went through apple and all the flavors. Now we're gonna go through all the flavors, if that makes any sense. Well, I don't want to sit here and keep yapping to you guys, so let's get into why you guys decided to show up today. Oh, we are still smoking a nice Hibiki whiskey. Japanese whiskey. It's been so far so good, you know. Get some of that in there. All right. Put that on there. Let that just kind of rest in there for a second. Alright, today's topic is going to be the state of gaming and what do I think and hope to see in the future of gaming, if you will. So, the state of gaming. Actually, before we get into the state of gaming, let's pop the top. Ooh, kill it. Alright, baby. Let's see what we got here. I think I said this the last time I mixed these two flavors. For whatever reason, the flavors kind of, for lack of better words, cancel each other out. So you don't get the essence of the apple or the pear. So I don't know, because normally apple has always been the shining star, if you will, and then we normally would get like the back end of another flavor. But for whatever reason, mixing the apple and the pear together always seems to cancel it out, if you will. Now, for today's topic, the state of gaming and just my opinions on it, I guess. I think with anything, also with gaming, I think that everything has its era. Excuse me. Also, please make sure you drink responsibly. Yeah. All right. So, the state of gaming. My thoughts. What I was saying earlier about I think gaming comes in eras. Gaming, for lack of better words, will always, well, for the most part, will always be around, right? But as video game companies go more towards microtransactions. I think gaming is on a steady downward pace, right? Because there was a time in gaming when, yeah, it may have seemed expensive, but they always gave us complete games, right? Now, for the base game, you basically paying $75 for a base game, and 9 times out of 10, depending on what game it is, it's not even finished. And I mean, so when you look at it, there's been a lot of games that have dropped. Hell, in just the last 5 years, where they have a pretty steep, maybe $60 to $75 price tag on them, and they're not finished. So then that also does create a void, if you will, in the gaming sphere, right? Like, I think, and like I said, I think gaming is on a steady downward pace, and I think we as a community, as gamers ourselves, I think we are partially the reason to blame for this, because there was a point in time when couch co-op was the thing and the place to be. You feel me? And game companies started getting greedy. It was like, all right, well, we're gonna take away the couch co-op. So now, as opposed to one person having a console, inviting your friends over and stuff, now everybody has to have a console, and you really are only friends online. Like, there was, and this is goes back into the era of gaming, if you will. Okay, so when I was coming up, PlayStation was hot. Not saying that it's not hot right now. Calm down. Get off your high horse. Okay, your boy has PlayStation and Xbox. We not doing that today. All right, but I think, like I said, once the microtransactions got into it, it started getting crazy, because like even with the first PlayStation, it was, the big PlayStation. Then with Sony products, obviously they created a compact one, and there was an attachment for both the big one and the compact one. It was a because the PlayStation One only came with two controller slots. So you had a first player, second player. But they then later on sold an attachment, and it was a triangle. So in essence, okay, you could pretty much have what, depending on the game, because but you pretty much have four people playing at a time, right? And the couch co-op era of video gaming, I feel like some of the best video games came out, and not just because they had elaborate stories or they were ahead of their time. No, it was because it was like, no, like if you wanted to play a game or whatever, or you got stuck on this particular mission, had the homies come over and help you beat it. But now we have gotten to the point of gaming where gaming doesn't necessarily start until you open up your wallet. And that's not even just with the opening the wallet of the initial game itself. No, that's just the opening of the wallet in general. Like, like I said, I miss the couch co-op game days. Some of my favorite couch co-op games would probably have to be Army of Two, Gears of War. I wasn't a big Halo guy, but I know people were out there in the Halo streets. Time Splitters 2 on Nintendo GameCube. Even the Nintendo GameCube, when the GameCube came out, it had 4 slots for controllers. So it was just like people wanted you to play with your friends and stuff like that. Now, in order to play with your friends, you have to pay for the online service. I got obviously your schedules lining up, stuff like that. But I think the whole notion of don't get me wrong, right? I've been playing games since before it was cool, and I will probably be playing video games when it's long gone and forgotten, right? But there, the downfall of gaming is just, I think it could be the greed, like there there was a time, man, a game would drop, and it was such a good game that you would probably realistically be playing it for like a couple of months, right? Nowadays, you get a game and you lucky if you able to even play it just because of maybe it's not finished. Maybe the company was stressed and they had to put it out to meet the deadlines. So you never really know. But I feel like as the consumer, we are not getting the best product of the game that we could have gotten. You know, like I said, San Andreas will always be one of my favorite video games, just because of when it came out and how far ahead of its time it was for the system it came out on. It came out on PlayStation 2, right? But when I say I feel like the state of gaming is down, is because I remember a time when they did midnight releases, right? And now, if they do a midnight release, it's not even a midnight release no more. It's at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. But I get that because that way at 9, pretty much for what I understand, I could be wrong, but the reason why they bumped it up to 9 was because so then that way it'll basically release, even with different time zones and stuff like that, it would release, everybody would be at their respective stores or downloading it all at the same time, right? So, and like I said, I think just us as gamers and then growing into adults, we got jaded because we're like, man, I remember when video games was good, but I'm still playing video games to pass the time, you know. Like I think the downfall of gaming was etched in stone, if you will, from the moment we, and not we, but game developers decided to go away from couch co-op and push microtransaction and online play and multiplayer stuff like that. So I think that's the moment that we started to decline in gaming, you know. But And I think also another reason for the decline of gaming would probably have to be the console wars in general, right? Because at one point it was about, oh, you know, what console had the most eyes on it. Now it's about what console, or I guess it's always been about what console has the better games or stuff like that. I I am an impartial person because I don't see how you can say there's console wars when, for lack of better hardware, PlayStation started it. Right? Like, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but the first PlayStation, the first Xbox did not come out to the early stages of PlayStation 2. So that was the first Xbox, big thing. But for me, the type of person I am, I have, like I said, I have both consoles. But I have my PlayStation because PlayStation, at least from what I've seen and played, PlayStation has better exclusives. But Microsoft Xbox has better. I guess the community is friendlier for multiplayer games on Xbox than PlayStation. But what do you guys think? What do you guys, if you guys are gamers or you gamers adjacent, where do you where do you see the state of gaming currently, or where do you see it going? I would like it to go back more so into the couch co-op, because I feel like when we had the couch co-op, we were getting complete games and people were taking their times. And I understand that deadlines because high demand and all that stuff. I get that, but if you're gonna have people paying whatever amount of money for said video game, when the video game comes out, it should be completed. One of the biggest examples of a game coming out and not being completed, Call of Duty. Call of Duty drops every year. And there's always a day one patch that comes with Call of Duty, and that's essentially that's the rest of the game, right? So it's like you got these AAA studios out here who are charging people X amount of dollars for their product, their video game, but you can't get a complete video game. I think a good recent example of an incomplete video game would have to be CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk. Like, Cyberpunk 2077, excuse me. That game was originally supposed to come out for the PlayStation 4 and whatever Xbox they had out at that time. But when it dropped for the next gen consoles, and even then, it was still a buggy game. They had to pretty much go back and reset the game just for it to be a good game. So I'm like, yeah. Apparently now it's a good game, but it's like, nah, you kind of already lost me when the first month some people couldn't play the game. Game was buggy. Like, that's insane. But do you guys have any games that you want to see come back, or like You guys got any new games that you're looking at or anything like that? But yeah, I think, and then also, can we talk about something real quick? I don't think you should be voice banned or chat banned from a video game that you have to be 17 or older to buy. What video game you're talking about? Well, if any of you guys play COD, that is rated M for mature. And you're basically getting chat banned for having mature conversation. And yeah, there's a lot of swearing and words that shouldn't be being said, but at the same point, this is a adult video game. Like, I can get chat banned in a video game that I could take somebody as a body shield and, for lack of better words, whisper sweet nothing into their ear and they can hear what I'm saying. But that's the game I can get chat. Okay, cool. It's all fine, big man. You got it, right? But yeah, what do I think that can possibly be done to change the state of gaming? I think we should or the gaming industry should get back to making solid video games, not caring about a console war. If you're putting out a product, you stamping this. It got Joe's stamp on it. Make sure that bitch is a banger, right? Because I feel like, and I can't speak for everybody, but I'll speak for myself in this when I say I feel like games of today necessarily don't have replay value. And what I mean by replay value, anybody that has played the original Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, how many times did you replay it? Or how many times did you replay a game? Well, I guess that is a replayable game. But how many times did you replay, whether it was WWF, SmackDown, Shut Your Mouth, whatever? Like, I feel like now when people beat games or they get far enough where they can't get past it for whatever reason, so they just turn it off. But how many games of today can you say that you would sit down after beating and replay it? You know what was a good game for replayability? Shit, people still probably currently playing this game right now. Motherfucking Elder Scrolls Skyrim. That game, so much replayability, right? And I think, like I said, there was a point or an era, if you will, where gaming, I feel like, was at its peak. Like everybody either had a comment or everybody was doing it, but there was one point in time where like gaming was top fucking tier. Like there was silly games, obviously, but for the most part, you had some bangers, like I said. And if we go back to the first episode, you already know how I feel about this, but PlayStation 2 had the best video game lineup, and there's nothing you can say or do to change my mind about that. That is a hill that we will defend over here. All right. But what else? Yeah, I think if we can find a way to get people back in one house as opposed to, oh, you over here, you over here. Like, when we gaming together. I think if we could find that, or even put a game together that bring us back, together, I think that will then be the shift in the decline of gaming. Right? Like, well, I think we should just get rid of the console wars because at this point it's like, as long as everybody has what they want, their preference or whatever, and we putting out fire quality content, what difference does it make what console sold more? Let's stop with the money grabs, all right? Because it's like people gonna pay for what they want. Okay, that has always been. I don't care what it is. That has always been it. But we not. That's a whole different story. We not gonna get on the soap out today. But as always, guys, this is fun for me. I'm just hanging out. I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for dropping down in the comments. Like I said, I see the comments. I try to reply back to everything. We're going to see where we go. My name is Black Sass, and this has been another installment of Whiskey Wednesdays. Don't forget to tip your bartenders and have a wonderful night.